Hey, welcome to the Sports Reverends podcast. My name is Dan.
And my name's Drew.
We're no experts, but we are
the Sports Reverends.
Welcome back to the Sports Reverends podcast. How you doing, Coach? Freshly shaven?
Freshly shaven, feeling like I'm back in high school, but the sun's out, hit plus 30 today here in Winnipeg, and we're good. We're rolling.
You don't look that young. Come on, don't boost it.
Oh, please.
Drusa, you look a little bit rouge there. Got some sun?
Yeah, definitely got some sun. I also trimmed up the beard, and I figured it was time with how hot it was today.
I'm repping the OTH Overtime Heroics sweatshirt here. Writing the Raptor report for the Overtime Heroics. There, you guys can check that out anytime. But let's get into some quick hitter news of the sports world around the league. All right, Gilbert Burns cements himself as UFC welterweight #1 contender. He has won 6 fights in a row. John Jones is vacating his UFC championship title as light heavyweight champion as a spat with Commissioner Dana White continues. John Jones may be considered the best UFC fighter of all time right now with his record and his skill set, eh? So this is pretty big news.
Dana White is a bum, an arrogant bum.
Well, yeah, I can't argue with that. Let's continue on. MLBPA, the Major League Baseball Players Association, proposes a 115-game schedule, and the MLB came back and proposed a 50-game schedule. All these rates would be at a prorated salary rate for the players, and there's some big arguments there. And some owners are threatening not to have a season anymore. We need to have baseball. These guys got to figure it out, and hopefully they can put the greed aside and figure this out. George Kittle of the San Francisco 49ers tight end is looking for more money. Kittle says in his own words, more than top tight end money is what he wants. So do you guys think George Kittle should be paid more than top tight end money?
I think he's the top tight end, but I don't think he should get receiver money for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
I think from a marketing standpoint, this is what you got to do, right? You got to reset the bar for your whole tight ends. What are the Niners going to do? Not pay this guy? Really?
The question is, though, is who else are they paying on that team? Like, he's the vet.
Well,
right?
what are they going to pay Debo once he's up, right?
Yeah, that's true. They got to plan for the future. You can't pay him more than top tight end money. That's
unless you front load the contract heavy. Not great, but it's a good ploy by him.
If there's a guy, it's him and Travis Kelce that can argue this. So
yeah,
I'm glad he's trying to get his money, but I doubt he gets paid higher than top tight end money. Continuing on, the MLS, Major League Soccer players didn't show up for training camp between the MLS Players Association and the MLS. The owners are threatening a lockout based on revenues from COVID. The NBA League of Governors to vote on Thursday on how to restart the league. We need some celebration music. I'm so ready for this. It looks like there's going to be 22 teams at Disney World with a potential World Cup style playoff. It's going to be like legendary. Hockey and basketball are going to be returning. And so stay tuned for that news coming out Thursday.
That is the party music, my friend.
Yes, it kind of cut out, but it's all good. All good. So the small market teams want all 30 teams to play because they want more revenue and they want some revenue coming in, but it is what it is. So with all this being said, before this news had come out, Dan Orlovsky of ESPN, who's on the show Get Up, was talking about Damian Lillard's comments about not playing if he didn't have an opportunity to make the playoffs. The Portland Trail Blazers were sitting in the 9th spot. There's about 19 games left in the season before COVID, and Damian Lillard just wanted a chance to make it. And so he was saying that I'm not going to play if they don't give me an opportunity to make the playoffs. Dan Orlovsky actually called him a whiny baby and a spoilt whiny baby, which is pretty crazy. What side do you guys lie on this? Dan Orlovsky on calling Damian Lillard a whiny baby, or are you on Damian Lillard's side? If they don't give him a chance to play, he's not going to play. Coach, let me know.
Hey, I I'm kind of split on this because, yeah, as an adult, you have a responsibility to go and fulfill your contract. However, the whole point of playing the game is to win. And if you're not giving a chance to win, you're really just playing to put money in the owner's pockets. That really doesn't benefit you. You could get injured, you could get sick with COVID. All sorts of things could happen just to get somebody else paid. If this was somebody saying, I got, minimum level contract and I don't want to play because of getting sick or whatever, I don't think it's gonna be big of a story. But the chance to not win really is kind of a detriment. And Dame's come out and said, hey, if there's a play-in tourney, I'm in. I'm game. Just give me a chance, which I think you have to respect.
My guy, Sports Reverends Drew, tell me what you think.
Well, I think he needs to honor his contract, and if he's willing to forego his money, I don't mind him not playing. But I don't think he's willing to do that either. So if you're going to be making the money, you should be playing. It's my opinion.
That's great opinion. So Joel, you kind of argued both sides. Choose one side. One word.
I'm choosing Dame's side. Dame.
Okay. I think I am also lying on Dame's side just because they've played enough of a season for them to have a chance to make the playoffs. I would have, if I was a betting man, I would have put money on the Blazers, not the Blizzard, the Blazers to make the playoffs. I wouldn't risk, if I'm an owner, if I'm a coach, I'm not risking Damian Lillard getting hurt in exhibition games that are meaningless to him. That's the only reason why I understand where Drew's coming from, and he's paid to play, but like, come on, it's the year of resting your players. Kawhi's kind of led the way in that. So let us know your thoughts. David Price, this is really cool, is paying $1,000 to over 200 minor league players in the LA Dodgers farm system. He hasn't even played a game in LA. So I want to shout out David Price because that is amazing. This is in the midst of farm system players being released left, right, and center here. They don't have the security of what the major league players has. And so shout out to David Price. That's really cool. Before we continue on, let's hear a word from our sponsors.
Have you ever thought about how well your investments are performing? Have you wanted to understand how the stock market works and how you can look after your financial future, but have been unsure of where or even how to get started? Train to Invest is North America's leading investment education and training corporation with the sole purpose of providing a new way of thinking about wealth management. Through teaching, training, and coaching individuals in both the art and science of self-directed investing, Train to Invest offers a complete education and training experience to empower families to begin their journey of planning for future generations through investment education. To find out more, look at www.traintoinvest.com and download our free ebook. Again, www.train2invest.com to find more information about our program and download our free ebook.
Okay, we are back. We have our ESPN's Top 74. We actually have our section with Christian Brower talking about the top 74 players in the NBA. It's all time, and we just have some comments and thoughts about what's going on, and you can hear what we have to say. All right, well, guys, let's get into it. We've been unable to go on with any more MJ documentary, which has been sad. So we're going to jump into the ESPN's Top 74. And before we get into it, we wanted to kind of redefine how the ratings and all-time ratings should be happening. And I'm going to throw it to Coach to give us a little perspective on that and how it kind of differs from ESPN's and the rest of the world's. But Go ahead, Coach.
Well, first thing, I thought Top 74 was really weird. That's just a weird number to start with. Yeah. But we were tossing around ideas about how to rank people. Yeah, it's tough with the eras being different. But if we were to make a list, we would go current versus non-current, because that's so much easier to compare guys who've retired versus guys who still have 4, 5, 6, 7 years to go. Like a guy like Giannis has a chance to really jump up this ladder if he wins a couple rings, gets a couple of MVPs, etc. Right? So we thought we'd give points for rings. Number one, you got to win. Playoff MVPs, regular season MVPs. For all the stat heads out there, we would use PER, player efficiency ratio. If you look on ESPN, on the NBA side, it's got a huge definition about it. Then you go to individual awards like Defensive Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year, all those kind of things, which is kind of weird because they've kind of phased out in the NBA, like the top blocks leader. They phased all that kind of stuff out, which was back big in the 80s and 90s. And then you go to the All-NBA teams. Now, the reason why we put the All-NBA teams at the bottom is because they're pretty subjective. There's media voting. There's player voting. Like Dan brought up, Klay Thompson didn't make any All-NBA teams last year, which was crazy.
Criminal, man. That's criminal.
Well, and it's criminal because he lost out on a ton of money.
Yeah.
Right? So that's why we put
All-NBA bad for him. He's got enough.
He does have enough.
Hey, you don't know what he does with his money. Maybe he's very generous. You never know.
Single guy.
Single guy.
Yeah. He's not generous to me, so.
No, he's not my friend.
A lot of ladies through college. Okay? A lot of ladies
probably.
through college.
That's true.
But so that's what we thought about our rankings. So when we're talking about who should be higher or lower, we're kind of taking that mindset of how to rank people.
All right. Well, let's kick it to Drew.
Come on. Don't start with me.
Just initial thoughts on top 74. We want to hear your thoughts. And we like hearing your voice too. So just initial thoughts, top 74, anything that stood out to you or bugs you, or do you agree with it?
Well, I was hoping to hear yours so I could sort of just like have a mixture of your two opinions and argue both of them, which is what I normally do on this show.
Yeah, Max.
So I will steal something from that we were talking about earlier. I think Tracy McGrady is too high on this list.
Preach.
They
Preach.
have him above
Where is he
Vince
ranked?
Carter.
He is 52, I think.
52. And that is,
Above
I
Ray
think, too
Allen.
high. Above Ray Allen. And did Tracy McGrady ever win a title?
Nope.
No.
Okay.
No.
So yeah.
Above Paul
And-
Pierce.
Above Paul, like I'd put a lot of these guys ahead. Even Gary Payton behind
Yep.
him.
Gary Payton's ranked low. I ranked way too low for me. But
Yeah, like for me, honestly, as I don't watch a lot of basketball, as you guys know, but Tracy McGrady has never stuck out as like ever being the best player in an era. I might be wrong about that, but he never stuck out.
T-Mac was a dynamic scorer though. Like he could
13 points in 35 seconds.
Yeah,
against the
like,
Spurs.
That's the only thing you remember about T-Mac.
No, T-Mac would drop.
No, I also remember that he always lost in the first round.
Okay,
I always
that's
remember
true.
that too.
That's true. But
So, like-
Orlando Magic T-Mac led the league in scoring how many years? Couple years at least.
Hey, if Grant Hill stayed healthy those years, they could have actually won some rings. Let's be real.
Exactly.
Tim Duncan was supposed to go to that team too, hey?
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Could you imagine?
Hey,
They
Yeah.
for sure had some rings.
And
this is why I asked not to go first. Okay, I'm
you
getting
brought up
chewed
T-Mac.
apart
You're doing
already.
great.
That's
Okay?
good. No, that's a good one, Drew.
You brought up
Okay,
T-Mac.
thank you.
And the T-Mac Yao Ming team, those were deadly Western teams, right? They just ran into
True.
tougher teams, right?
Lakers and Spurs.
The Lakers
Yeah.
and Spurs and
Better teams
Sacramento.
overall.
Yeah, for sure.
Also,
Like,
I'll
go
throw
ahead,
this
Drew.
out there. It's along the same lines as Gary Payton, right? He's way too low. Okay.
Yeah.
Chris Paul is too high as well, I think. 40,
Yeah.
and he hasn't won anything.
Isn't that anything?
Ooh,
All right.
Paul's nice, man.
Tell us your
I-
thoughts on Chris.
I have never bought into the fact of Chris Paul being one of the best point guards in the game.
I'm
never
with
bought
you on
that.
that.
Oh, you guys.
I'm
How
with
can
him
you
on
say
that,
that?
man. All right, CB, tell
I
us
can
your
say
thoughts.
that because he hasn't won
How
anything.
can you? No. How can you say that, especially after this year, where the Thunder were supposed to be garbage? You lose Paul George and Westbrook, and you have the exact same record the next year because of Chris
SGA.
Paul.
They have this guy named
No.
Shai Gilgeous
No.
Alexander.
So
SGA is unreal.
okay. So you think SGA is as good or better than Paul George? or Russell Westbrook.
No.
Well, no.
Then how is him and Chris Paul? Then you have to give.
Then
love
how
to
do
Chris
the
Paul.
Raptors have the same or better record?
They have a better
without
record.
Kawhi?
Right?
Are you saying any of the players on the Raptors are better than Kawhi?
No, I'm saying they got better. We didn't lose
Same thing with
two
Oklahoma.
stars. We didn't lose
But that's-
Lowry and Leonard and trade them for, some random point guard like Drew Holiday, and then all of a sudden we're better. Like, we'd be way worse. Like Chris Paul's nasty, man.
Chris Paul, that is probably like his best argument, right? Is this year. But there was still about 22 games left. And this is about when Chris Paul totally wears out and gets injured for the last 20 games. He averages over the last 4 seasons, 56 games, right? And that's one knock on him. But I think Christian brings up a good point. I mean, you lose PG and Westbrook, but then how overrated is Westbrook? Whoa.
Hold on. Let me hold on. He's overrated in the sense that, he's puts up tons of stats, averages triple-double, but at the expense of your teammates flourishing.
I think that would be along the same lines as Tracy McGrady, right? Like,
yeah.
But PG was like an MVP candidate last year.
No,
he was like fourth or fifth, and you have Westbrook. You lose them both. You get Chris Paul, who is supposedly like this
old
albatross salary throw-in who no one wants, and then all of a sudden you're killing it.
But then what happens with him and Harden? Why didn't they do any better with that?
And him
Harden's
and the Clippers.
a joke because Harden doesn't want to pass the ball or do anything. That's why.
Wow.
Well, that might be also D'Antoni too, right? But it's hard to say, right? Like Chris Paul's, they just talk about him as a top 5 point guard of all time. And that is like tough for me to take in because there's so many good point guards out there.
Yeah, I feel that. But when Drew is saying I don't see him as a top point, like he in my mind, there's been multiple years where he's the best point guard in the league.
But so according to this though, is Chris Paul better than Gary Payton? Gary Payton's rated way lower.
53.
Yeah. I'm not saying he's way better than Gary Payton.
He's better?
But like, I think they're very comparable, honestly. Both real good on defense.
PER, Daniel.
Say what?
Chris Paul's a higher PER. He's 25.1. Peyton's 18.9, so he's more efficient.
But PER also doesn't tell the whole stats too, right? Like the game was totally different back then.
Yeah, I mean, well, no, because they use the same formula. That's the whole point of the stats, right? Is to
Chris Paul's nice, guys.
He is nice. I agree with you.
Nice, but I don't know if are you winning a championship with Chris Paul as your lead dog?
As your lead dog, I don't know.
Well, no, but I think there's maybe 4 players in the league that you win with your lead dog unless you have a sick backup dog.
Is Chris Paul better than Russell Westbrook?
Yeah.
You think so?
Russell can't hit an open 3 to save his life.
But Russell will do everything else.
Yeah, but at the expense of putting
but he'll do everything else without anyone else. Everyone else just stands around.
Look how good Steven Adams is this year.
Guys
averaging double rebounds.
Westbrook is way more exciting, but he is not a better point guard.
We're going to be collabing for a top 10, and this is going to be trouble.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to throw this to Joel, though.
Okay.
Because I want you to talk about how big the gap is between Chris Paul and Tony Parker on this list.
Oh, you kidding me? I can't believe. Okay, let's just get it out here.
Because when we're talking about championships, right?
Yeah,
you don't think Tony Parker is better than Paul? There's no way.
I think based on where they're ranked on this list, that's ridiculous. Chris Paul is 40. Tony Parker is 70. Are you absolutely kidding me?
Yeah.
How many rings does Tony Parker have? How many finals MVPs does Tony Parker have? Right? And we talked about it based on our definition. We talk rings are number 1 and so on and so forth. Is Chris Paul a more nuanced player than Tony Parker? Absolutely. I think if you put them 1-on-1, Chris Paul is probably beating Tony Parker 9 out of 10 times. Right? However, I think Tony Parker.
Tony, I don't
You'll have to define nuance for me.
Like he has a better. Oh, jeez. For me, Tony Parker was better able to run the offense. He got it done.
No.
Absolutely.
What's Tony Parker's career high in assists? Like 7.5?
But that's the Spurs system too.
But okay, in the Spurs, do you think that if you traded out Tony Parker for Chris Paul, the Spurs are worse or better?
I think
They're definitely better.
I don't know if
I don't think they're
I think they're way better. But if they're definitely better.
Okay,
they're way better.
I don't know if way better. I would say better. But the disparity from 40 to 70, I think Tony Parker's way too short on this list. He needs to be up there.
But 40 to 70 in terms of the eternity of players in the game is not that much. Like if you were ranking the last 20 years,
we're not talking about the guys who are warming the bench. Who cares about those guys? Like Jeremy.
No, but there's how many great players?
Jeremy Lin's got a ring. We're not going to put in the conversation of all-time greats.
No, for sure.
Right? I mean,
but it's only 30 spots in the top 74 of all time. So it's not that many spots. Like how many point guards are in there?
Oh, I gotta count. I did not count that.
There's Gary Payton. There's Damian Lillard. There's Tony Parker, Pete Maravich.
Yeah.
Is Earl Monroe a point guard?
I think so.
There might be 5 point guards. So really, he's like 5 point guard spots
Russell
higher.
Westbrook was ranked higher than Tony Parker.
Yeah, that's tough for me.
That's tough. Like that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, in a bubble, I would take Chris Paul. Yes, definitely. But Drew's question was very misleading because he just wants to get riled up. But 70 for Tony Parker, that absolutely blew my mind. Absolutely blew my mind.
You know what's interesting is that Carmelo was 59th, and now he's not even on the list.
Yeah.
How does that happen?
That's tough. I don't know.
Because the last
and
couple.
I also don't. My biggest thing on this list is that players who retired and haven't played have like gone up over players who still have been retired. How does that happen? Like they don't get better. Like how does Bill Russell jump from 7th to 4th and Magic and Wilt drop spots? Like their careers have been done for 20 years. How did they?
The ESPN bias.
Yeah,
right?
Fair.
Because like Bill Simmons used to work for ESPN, did this huge thing on Bill Russell, and now Bill Russell's always at the NBA Finals, handing out the trophy, blah 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 blah. For years, he didn't want to have anything to do with the NBA, right? So I'm gonna jump all the way to number 2. Like LeBron is the second best ever. That's a tough one, but it sells ESPN stuff.
Right? That's a bias, right? That's a big bias.
That's the bias.
He's bringing in millions and millions for ESPN.
So are you saying he should be number 1?
Drew, don't go there.
Stop it, Drew. Okay, what about
Isaiah? Like LeBron, but I do think LeBron's number 2, and I don't like LeBron at all. Like Dan, you know me. I don't like LeBron at all, but I think he's
certified LeBron, not hater for sure.
We'll have to go over the top 10.
But we're gonna go through the top 10 shortly.
I think LeBron could be number 2, all said and done.
I'll tell you guys why you're wrong later.
Okay, fair enough.
But Isaiah Thomas, 31.
Too low.
Right?
That's because of MJ. MJ probably had like 5 votes in here.
MJ sent them down. That's good.
Yeah.
And then Steve Nash. Would you rather have a guy like Steve Nash or a guy like Chris Paul?
Who's coaching?
D'Antoni.
Bro, when you say that, actually, those careers are pretty much close to identical. If you look at it, like they never made it to the finals.
Yeah.
They never really went like that. They went to the Western Conference Finals like twice, but that's it.
2 MVPs.
But Chris Paul has the defensive stuff, right?
But Chris Paul probably has similar year numbers to those MVP years, to be honest.
I say in 2008 he got robbed from Kobe, but that's kind of true. But
I mean, Steve Nash is an underrated defender. He wasn't like a turnstile. He could still cover guys. A lot of Chris Paul's steals come off playing off the ball. He's not stripping guys in front of him.
Yeah, he's definitely way better than Nash as a defender, though. Like you're not putting Nash on to stop anyone.
Nash is no Jose Calderon. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, you're trying to hide Nash, not hide him, but like he's like Steph. Like you're putting Clay on the best guard, and you're putting Nash on the worst guard.
I would say Nash is a better shooter.
Yeah.
Than Chris Paul?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Probably, yeah.
He's got that 90-50 club.
Yeah.
And then, so the other question is, okay, where do you like? How is Iverson? Where is he? He's at 29. He's ahead
He's
of
not
Nash.
better than Isaiah Thomas.
He's
There's
better.
No way.
He's ahead of Thomas. Yeah.
There's
So,
no way.
like, how does Isaiah Thomas get that low? I don't understand. And John Stockton's 28. Like, what is this?
Yeah. How is Isaiah Thomas only one better than James Harden?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how is he worth? There's
That's
no way
a-
Isaiah
that's a
Thomas is
joke.
worse than Stockton.
Yeah,
Stockton,
that's
hey, but Stockton leads the NBA in both steals and assists.
and it's-
But how many?
Yeah.
Like,
Ever.
Isaiah's got 2 rings
But-
and he's the MVP on that team.
I get it. I'm just
MJ himself said that Isaiah's a better player than Stockton in the documentary. He said that they
Yeah.
picked Stockton for the glue guy, but
Yeah.
Isaiah's
He
A
said he
better
put
player.
Isaiah right after Magic
After
in point
Magic.
guards.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. Is there anything? I know we could go on and on about this 74 list. Why don't we just jump
Oh.
into our top 10s?
wait, one more.
Okay,
Come
one
on.
more.
They got Kawhi at 25.
What's wrong with that?
That seems too low.
Too
Yeah.
low.
Yeah.
You want him higher?
He's better than Barkley.
All time?
No. He
Absolutely.
has not had a better. Barkley is disgusting, bro.
Bro, we're framing the conversation of how we're going to define like a top player, right? He goes rings, MVPs, blah 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 blah. Barkley, 22 points per game, 11 rebounds. Kawhi, 18 and 6. Steals are about the same. Assists are about the same.
Kawhi also sits out like 30% more of the games.
Yeah.
But Kawhi's got 2 rings, 2 Finals MVPs, 2 Defensive Player of the Years, 4-time All-Star Game MVP.
But who did Barkley play with? Like Barkley went to the finals with the Suns. Who did the Suns
Yeah,
have?
but I mean, you could
Yeah,
say
Dan
that.
Marley.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
but
he's
that,
okay,
you
but-
can say that for like Bill Russell when he's destroying guys way back in the day, or George
Like
Mike.
Kawhi's had like 5 years of being real good. You can't give Kawhi's 5 years that
Oh.
half of them have been injured, so like injury prone, over Barkley's like 10-year run of dominance. You can't.
I'm gonna respect.
like, So CB, would you take like a career like Vince Carter's over Kawhi's then? If you're just looking at it like that?
Well, no, but I think that when you have players who are like really good,
Yeah.
and the numbers are really hard to differentiate, I think sustained greatness matters. Like that's why I think T-Mac is like he's so high. Well, he had like 4 or 5 years that were unreal, but that was
Yeah.
like really it.
Is this peak?
Yeah, and then he
his
had like
peak
2
was
or
so
3
high.
years of real good, but then he kind of really fell off a cliff.
He had lots
So,
of
like,
injuries.
I don't think-
too,
Yeah, I don't think Kawhi, like for all we know, Kawhi in the next 2 years, say he keeps
Wow.
breaking down and does nothing. Like
Yeah.
is that a better career than Barkley? Like Barkley was long time dominant, all-star, MVP.
So you would take the
like-
Hall of Fame over 2 Finals MVPs and 2 championships.
I think at this point, I think it's a better career. Like when you like, I love Kawhi. I think
Wow.
Kawhi's for sure gonna pass him.
Yeah.
But I think at this point, like Kawhi's
It's
first one
unfair.
Finals MVP,
Tough.
yeah, first
that makes
MVP. It was the Spurs. Like it was Duncan, it was Parker, it was Ginobili, and then last year the Raptors were so deep. Like he was our best player by far. But I think again, I think if Barkley was on those 2 teams, like I don't think that they're worse.
No. That's a great point. And I think that goes into our definition of like, okay, we should separate.
I also love
current-
Barkley. So like I'm like you're Parker. I love Barkley. So
Right.
That's
what-
fair.
Okay,
Uh,
here's another one for you. I know you want to keep going, but here's another one. Would you take Pippen, Garnett, or Nowitzki?
Pippen.
Drew, any
Oh,
ideas?
no.
I'm
I
taking
have to think about that.
Because Scotty's 21,
They're all in a row
Garnett's
there.
20, and Nowitzki's 19.
I think I'd take Nowitzki.
No.
The tall white guy who can shoot, sure.
No, the guy that won a championship.
Yeah,
That year he won over LeBron.
Oh,
One of the best
Right?
finals.
that was one of the
MVP
that's
runs.
was unreal.
I don't know. That's a
Scotty's
tough
never
one
won
for
by
me.
himself.
I think Scotty's the third. I think I can't choose between Nowitzki and KG, and Scotty's number 3.
Wow.
Really?
Surprising. That's surprising.
Yeah.
Dan, what do you think?
I'm taking Pippen at number 1 because if I just look at it like how I said, I think one of the MJ Doc days is like if Pippen had an equal equivalent of another Pippen beside him and he
Yeah.
could try to be the number 1, how well would the Bulls still do, right? I'm sure they would still win a few championships at least. And that would show, like, I don't know. I just think he was considered the second best player in the game for that.
But Nowitzki did it with no number 2 beside him.
I was gonna say, and KG when he was older and got Paul Pierce, they were sick. And if they would have been younger, they would have had a good run. And they were going against the Lakers and the Spurs,
and the big three, Miami.
KG was nasty. Like KG Minnesota, man. Like with no, who did he play with?
It's like
he had like Sam Cassell when he was 50.
Sam Cassell.
Yeah, he's 50 years old. And he's
Wally Zerbiak
player.
Money.
Yeah, Wally
Zerbiak. You can only hope to contain him.
And now let's go to our commercial. With no sports to watch on TV, esports have been shooting off the charts. What are esports, you may ask? Well, basically, it's competitive video gaming. Esports are fun to watch, and my favorite gamer to watch is a guy named Vandalized. Vandalized plays a variety of consoles and games, including the new Call of Duty Modern Warfare and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. What makes him so unique is that he plays these games with the controller upside down. It is a talent unlike any other. You can check his Twitch stream out, and you can find the link in the Sports Reverends Instagram bio, or you can search him up on Twitch, Vandalized, with 2 Z's or Z's. His control will be upside down. All right, we are back, and we have been getting some negative comments about our top 5 wide receivers in the NFL today. There's been some thoughts on Devontae Parker not being in there, and the questions about Chris Godwin, and there's been some good conversation. Sports Reverends, you guys have an we have an opportunity to agree with or stand by with what we said. Are you guys still standing by our top 5? Michael Thomas 1. Julio 2.
I would agree with that. I think a lot of this backlash has been about what people have done in the past, and I think that these 5 guys are gonna have an absolute monster of a season, just a monster of a season this year, and fantasy football is gonna be very happy about these 5 guys. That's my take.
True stuff. You stand by it?
Yeah, I stand by it, and just to throw some more gas on the fire or whatever.
Yes, Drew. I love when you throw gas on the fire.
I will move Hopkins out of the top 5 and put Devontae Parker at 5.
Okay.
And put Devontae Adams in at 4.
Woo! Some hot takes. I'm with you getting Devontae Adams in our top 5, but I'm not moving D-Hops out. That's crazy to me. Okay, well, I'm sure we're going to have some more heat about that. That's going to be fun.
Bring it.
Yeah, exactly. What you guys can do is we have on our website, www.thesportsreverends.com, we have our NFL player and awards positions and all the picks you can make about the upcoming NFL season. What you can do is fill out that form. And we're going to continue monitoring those monitoring those answers until the end of the season, and we're going to see where everyone is at. And you know what? Maybe we'll give out a prize to the person who comes closest to all the correct picks. Okay, so fill out that form, get it in, and go Cowboys. Okay. We had one more question from one of our loyal fans, Ian Walsner. He wanted to know our thoughts on who would have won the NBA championship if COVID never happened. I'll go first.
Okay.
I'm going for the Toronto Raptors. Are going back to back as NBA champions. And I think because of COVID, it helps because now they're healthy and they are deep. And I'm still sticking with the Raptors. Let's go. Who do you got? Someone shout it out.
I got the Clippers. I just think with the way they've been doing their rest all season, I think Kawhi and Paul George would have been ready to go. And, I still think they have the best roster, deepest roster out of the top teams, I think. Yeah, I'd take the Clippers.
Drew, if the Clippers win, are you putting Kawhi as the number one player in the NBA?
No.
If he
At like
wins Finals
4
MVP.
right now, going into the next season?
Well, there's a difference between, I think, best player and
Yep.
right? Like, I want my best player to be playing regular season and playoffs. But yeah, like I guess I'd have to concede that, I guess. But
if you put like KD or Giannis and like in Kawhi's situation, those teams are also probably winning, is what you're saying?
yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's a good take. It's a good take. How about you, Coach?
Okay, first of all, Raptors are not going to win.
They are gonna win
That's ridiculous. I don't think without Kawhi,
Stephen A. Smith over here.
anyone on that team will be able to produce the same way that he did in the playoff run. Yeah, Siakam's having a phenomenal year, and I wouldn't even put it past him to win the MIP again. But you put it past that, and I don't see the rest of that team.
No one's asking you to argue against the Toronto Raptors.
I'm just making my case here, okay? So just relax. So Raptors are out. Clippers are out too, even though I am a huge Kawhi fan. I love that man. I'm really sad he's not with the Spurs, but the Clippers are out
Spurs did him dirty, though.
That's a whole other story. Let's not even go there. I think with the whole the main reason that problem I have with the Clippers is there's not enough cohesion that they've played together enough. They added Morris twin. Paul George and Kawhi haven't played a ton together. And come the playoff time, that can really come to bite you and get you, right? Because it's about making it those rotations, making sure you trust your team to run the right thing. And I think, Patrick Beverley is a whole lot of smoke. And he thinks he can dummy LeBron. That has been proven wrong so many times. I love the guy's confidence, but that's not going to happen.
I think 6'8", maybe.
Yeah. Even 6'6", he would he's got the tenacity. The Lakers are too old. LeBron won't be able to handle the stretch run.
Whoa.
AD has not proven that he can be the top dog. So that means I'm picking the Bucks to come out of the gates running.
Okay.
I don't think you're going to see Bledsoe have a meltdown again. I think Giannis is going to step it up, and you throw in the system really, and it just makes it so difficult to guard. So I'm picking the Bucks.
Joel, did you watch the All-Star game this year?
Please.
Was the All-Star game great?
The All-Star game was phenomenal.
Did they show you how to cover? Did they show you how to cover Giannis just like the Raptors did in the playoffs last year?
I know. They're not going to happen.
Paint, make them shoot.
Giannis is getting better as a shooter.
You're gonna trust Eric Bledsoe to get you over the hump.
Look at Kemba Walker in the All-Star game. He had like 10 open threes to win it. He couldn't hit a single one in the fourth quarter. Embiid could barely.
So you're gonna trust Bledsoe too? At least Kemba's a scorer.
I don't think Bledsoe's gonna have a meltdown. I don't think so.
All right, I can't. I just wanted to throw some punches in there because you were taking out the Raptors.
That's okay. I mean, I want the Raps to win. I do, but I don't think it is. Drew, why don't you talk to us about the Instagram and Twitter accounts, about our social media here for the Sports Revs?
Yeah, well, if you like what you hear, like and subscribe, and also follow us on Instagram, like us on Twitter, whatever you do on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube. We just hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, which is really exciting.
Woo!
Awesome.
So,
that is
awesome. And we're about 40,000 followers on Instagram.
Yeah, let's go.
And yeah, our YouTube hits are amazing. So, yeah.
People like the YouTube. Don't forget to check out our website as well, thesportsreverends.com, www.thesportsreverends.com, because there's lots of different things we post on there. There's the tune in, there's the little clips we do here. Make sure you like and subscribe us all across all social media platforms. But I think Dan has done a great job of making sure there's a lot of interactive things. So we can start off with the NFL polls for the awards, and just keep it locked on there, because there's lots of good things that are being put out there to help you enjoy sports in this time where sports is kind of in the balance here.
All right, so to our fans, we love you. We got big news coming on Thursday, so stay tuned. And we're so excited for NBA and NHL and all these sports to return. I'm sure baseball's coming back too. It's going to be big. I'm calling it right now. By Thursday night, we'll also know lots about baseball. And let's go. We'll see you guys on probably Thursday night or Friday morning. We'll see. Say goodbye, everybody.
Peace.
And peace.
Samara and Jane is an Australian-based accessories retailer with all of the latest fashion trends from around the world. Ladies, update your style game with gorgeous earrings, necklaces, and other jewelry for affordable prices. And guys, you can shop for that special lady in your life too. Use discount code SPORTSREV30 for 30% off your entire order. That's SPORTSREV30 for 30% off your entire order. Use discount code at checkout at samaraandjane.com.